afternoon. I apologise for the slow start. I'm just basically trying to test everything to make sure it's working. So, I've got clarification that you can now see my screen. Well, I don't know if you can see me, to be fair, but I know you can hear me. So, we are good to go. So, I just want to welcome you to our Health and Wellbeing Month of March. We're doing it on the effects of smoking. You would have already known already from the tags that are on your emails, as well as the email from Julie as well this week. So I'm just going to go through this presentation, and if there's any questions at the end, then by all means, I believe the option that you've got there is the chat at the bottom right. I'll see what I can do for the questions as well afterwards. So following on from a successful month, as I've already said, on prostate cancer, we're continuing with the calendar in May 2019, and we are focusing on the effects of smoking. So the effects of smoking, just a couple of sources that I just want to reference really is that I've got my information from NHS and Bupa, so thank you very much for that. Using those sources of information, there's plenty of videos that you can go on to, and you'll be able to see all sorts of different bits, and that is just a sort of clipping of a video that I was able to watch myself. It's about mutations, so basically shows somebody smoking and something very nasty growing on top of the cigarette, which is effectively representing what it's doing to your body. So we're going to look at how smoking affects your body, and every cigarette you smoke is harmful. It says that smoking is the biggest cause of preventable death in England. There's a shocking statistic there of 80,000 deaths each year. 1 in 2 smokers will die from smoking-related disease. The truth is, if you could see the damage, you would stop. Because we can't, it's probably easier to crack on. I'm going to show you a picture later on as well that might put it into perspective for you. So what we're going to go through now is a few bits, circulation being one of them, and ultimately when you smoke, the poisons from the tar and the cigarettes enter your blood, and these poisons in your blood then make your blood thicker and increase chances of clot formation, increase your blood pressure and heart rate, making your heart work harder than normal, narrow your arteries, reducing the amount of oxygen-rich blood circulating to your organs, and together, these changes to your body when you smoke increase the chance of your arteries narrowing and clots forming, which can cause a heart attack or stroke. Let's have a look at the heart. So with the heart itself, smoking damages your heart and your blood circulation, so it increases the risk of conditions such as coronary heart disease, heart attack, stroke, peripheral vascular disease, or in other words, damaged blood vessels, and cerebrovascular disease, which is the damaged arteries that you supply the blood to your brain. Carbon monoxide from the smoke and nicotine both put a strain on the heart by making it work faster. These also increase the risk of blood clots. Other chemicals in cigarette smoke damage the lining of your coronary arteries, leading to furring of the arteries. In fact, smoking doubles your risk of having a heart attack, and if you smoke, you have twice the risk of dying from coronary heart disease than lifetime non-smokers. The good news, though, everybody, is that after 1 year of not smoking, your risk is reduced by half. So after stopping for 15 years, your risk is similar to that of someone who has never smoked. Still chance for us all yet. Looking at a little bit now about the effects it will do to your brain. If you smoke, you're more likely to have a stroke than someone who doesn't smoke. In fact, smoking increases your risk of having a stroke by at least 50%, which can cause brain damage and death. And by smoking, you double your risk of dying from a stroke. One way that smoking can increase your risk of a stroke is by increasing your chances of developing a brain aneurysm. This is a bulge in the blood vessel caused by a weakness in the blood vessel wall, and it can rupture or burst, which will lead to an extremely serious condition known as a subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is a type of stroke and can cause extensive brain damage and subsequently death. The good news is, though, again, that within 2 years of stopping smoking, your risk of a stroke is reduced to half that of a smoker. And within 5 years this time round, it'll be the same as a non-smoker. So some key facts that I've just thrown in that I think is quite important is that cigarette smoke contains about 5,000 chemical compounds, and of these, about 70 are known to cause cancer. People often think that hand-rolled cigarettes are healthier. As you can see written there, it's not. It is literally a myth. Hand-rolled cigarettes are just as harmful as the manufactured ones. If you smoke 20 or more cigarettes a day, your risk of having a stroke can be up to 6 times that of a non-smoker. If you're under 50 and smoke, you're 5 times more likely to have a heart attack than a non-smoker. And in around 9 out of 10 people who get COPD, that's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, smoking is responsible. Children of parents who smoke are more likely to get asthma or other breathing problems. So that can kind of hit home there as well. So this is basically an elaborated version of that tag that we've got on our emails at the moment as part of the signature. So every 15 cigarette smokes causes a mutation in your body. And just referencing back to the clipping of a video that I showed you earlier on, that there you see on the cigarette is the mutation that your body will be developing as you're smoking a cigarette. But the important message of this picture here, though, everybody, is that looking at the bottom left, it says search smoke free and get your free personal quit plan. So all you have to do is go onto Google or any other search sort of engine and type that in, and it will give you all the information that you need. And that's from the Public Health England. This is the picture I was alluding to, that if you can see the damage, you're probably more than likely going to stop. So that jar is obviously representing the body itself and then the lungs within it. So they don't really look that pretty, in all fairness. But ultimately, don't let tobacco take your breath away. And the reason why I've included this is actually, incidentally, that the 31st of May is World No Tobacco Day. So if you do smoke, I would encourage you to consider sort of going through with that day if you can, and look into quit if you can, of course. So within MWay Comms, the great thing is that Find the Joke It is back. Again, it's to sort of bring about some, I suppose, a bit of entertainment, for the right word, is that we're going to raise money. Whoever wins can 50% of the takings, and then 50% of it will go to charity. We did really well with prostate cancer last time we did it a couple of months ago, so hopefully we can do equally as good with this smoking one. So finally then, my last slide for today is again just sort of MWay Comms are sort of trying to encourage everybody to really take account of the effects of smoking. Of course, we can only encourage and offer guidance and look for how you quit smoking, but ultimately just want to sort of enlighten you a little bit more on the effects. So I hope this was successful. It's the first time that I've ever done something like this. If you have any questions, please do ask away.